We are here tonight to celebrate the 23rd Annual Angel Awards Gala. It's an opportunity to highlight some amazing people who go above and beyond in support of Louisiana's children. The Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Louisiana Foundation annually identifies people from across the state who are doing great things in support of kids, and we're here tonight to tell their stories and to hopefully draw some attention to the great work that they're doing.
How do you select the winners?
So we select the winners. First, we take nominations from all across the state of Louisiana, and we ask them to tell us, why does this person deserve to be highlighted for the incredible work they are doing on behalf of kids. We then convene a group of our previous Angel winners, and we ask them to help us sift. We bring in our top folks, and we say, look, these people are amazing. Help us identify the folks that you think are most deserving this year. It's always a tough selection process, lots of conversation, but ultimately we come out with tonight's honorees.
On behalf of the Board of Directors, I'd like to welcome you to the 23rd Annual Angel Award Ceremony. Tonight, we come together to honor 10 people who have had a profound impact on the lives of children in Louisiana through their selflessness, dedication, and willingness to make a change. People we call angels for their compassion in action. Earlier today, surrounded by past honorees, we presented them with their Golden Wings pin, signifying their admission to a league of extraordinary people formed in 1995. And tonight, we will hear their stories and see the moving effect of their service. Our 2017 class of angels was chosen from a record number of nominations from around the state. And tonight, they join a legacy of everyday people doing extraordinary good. Tonight, we celebrate those who have spent their lives pursuing service for children. Believe me when I tell you that fewer things could be more uncomfortable for these angels, and I'm sure they would not let us hang their pictures up and tell their stories if it didn't bring attention to their cause. But now, more than usual, we need to hear these stories of positivity and faith, of community through service, of healing and hope, and most importantly, of love. And so, in most ways, we honor them tonight for their legacy of giving to Louisiana's children. But we also honor them for what their diligence means for grown-ups, because sometimes we forget that on the other side of opinion, politics, and division are the most innocent and fragile among us, in desperate need of our attention. As you listen to our angels' stories tonight, it will start to become obvious that this is the common theme in their work. They're a diverse group. A few are nonprofit professionals, but many have day jobs. They're not celebrities, they don't crave the limelight, and they never set out to be seen as crusaders. They're everyday people working to build up their communities through positivity and service. Most importantly, our angels stand out from everyday volunteers for their perseverance. First, they decided to help, and then they kept coming back, working at it. And their work inspired others to join in. And over time, through consistent acts of love and giving, each of our angels has created a movement of powerful change for children and people in communities across Louisiana. They've created extraordinary good. Before we get started, I'd like to tell you a little bit about our foundation, as well as about a few previous angels. Since 1991, the Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Louisiana Foundation has supported the charitable giving and community partnerships of Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Louisiana, the oldest and largest health insurer in the state. The company is made up of 2,400 everyday people who work each day to improve the health and lives of Louisianians. For the company, that mission means more than just showing up to pay claims as soon as possible. It means investing in the health and success of our neighbors, of families and friends, because we live here too. The Angel Awards are part of that investment. We see tonight as the start of a partnership between our foundation and the honorees, a commitment to support and grow their important work. And because it takes more than just time to do this work, we recognize and believe it will also take some money to truly make a difference. The foundation makes a grant of $20,000 to each Angel's charity. Tonight, we will also recognize a Blue Angel, an employee of Blue Cross who's given significant amounts of time and energy to Louisiana's children. His organization will receive a $5,000 grant. These angels know firsthand what their causes and communities need. So we ask them to be the eyes and ears and compass for the foundation. We want them to be partners who can help us direct resources where they'll do the most good, to fill in needs that are yet unmet, and to make a significant and lasting difference in building a healthier Louisiana. Finally, before I ask our board chair, Dan Bournet, to come up and say a few words, I want to take just a moment to remember those of our wings who passed away this past year. First, Charles Bennett of Baton Rouge, who passed away at the age of 87 in December of 2016. Charles and his wife Frances, who is here tonight, were honored together for creating Dreams Come True of Louisiana, which has brought relief and joy to thousands of Louisiana children facing life-threatening illnesses. The Bennetts have been true friends to our community and our foundation. And if you've ever met Frances or had the chance to meet Charles, you no doubt recognize two soulmates who fueled each other to do wonderful, powerful, positive things with that energy and joy. Second, Robert Moss of Leesville passed away in May of this year. Anyone from that area knew Robert for his profound faith and tireless work on behalf of children. Robert became an angel in 2002 and was recognized for a substantial commitment to the Lions Club, which provided services and support for disabled children, as well as those with autism, diabetes, muscular dystrophy, and pulmonary disorders. Robert is an example of a life well lived, and his legacy will continue on. Each angel we lose represents a sad loss, but also a beautiful testament to the power of kindness and love at work here in Louisiana. We will miss them, but we continue to support the work that they left behind.
This year marks the 25th anniversary of Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Louisiana Foundation. Over the past quarter century, we have supported thousands of worthwhile programs that open doors to better health and better education for Louisiana and for its children. But it's the Angel Award that we're best known for. And that's because our angels, the people who have let us support them and have permitted us to lift them up in the name of making a better life for kids. The angels who are joining us tonight, to them, I'd like you to know that you're surrounded by a room full of people who are here to lift you up, and more importantly than that, to lend their voices to your causes.
Now, what Michael said, of course, is true. And as you enjoy your dinner, we all know the real reason why we're here, to change the lives of children and thus the community in our future throughout Louisiana. These kids need healthy lives. The children need safe places to stay in our state. They need to learn and to continue learning in a creative way. And I'm actually very excited to explain for us to see some of the creative ways in which they're learning because of our honorees tonight. They need access to healthy food, to guidance, and educational opportunities. Across Louisiana, there are thousands of children without access to the support that they need to thrive, the support that so many of us were blessed to have. Thankfully, though, there are also thousands of everyday people in Louisiana working to make a difference in the lives of these children. So without further ado, let's get to know these 10 incredible individuals.
Tammy Cook, School to You, Lake Charles, Louisiana.
My name is Tammy Cook. I am the founder of School to You. I was a student at several schools here. We moved a lot as a huge family. One of my teachers in 3rd grade inspired me to become a teacher. We lived in government housing here in Lake Charles, and I really depended on my teacher that year, and she made a huge impact on me wanting to become a teacher. And I've been a teacher for 24 years now.
Being a teacher, she completely understands the needs of these children, and that all students benefit from summer enhanced programs. And so many of our children don't have the capability to partake in those types of activities. And so the School to You, the mobile classroom, it's a novel and unique idea meeting the needs of so many of our students. And it actually brings this enhanced program to the children who need it the most.
Our parents struggle to provide their children with the necessary support they need for school because they lack the time and resources. So School to You helps support parents in that way.
As a parent, sending Miles to School to You, I've seen such improvement. Working with Ms. Tammy and the rest of her staff, he has really grown tremendously, not only with his reading, but also with his math and his comprehension.
I think that School to You brings an aspect of fun and excitement and a way of learning that is not just so traditional. So it brings it out of an element of the normal classroom and brings an element of, hey, I think I want to do that. I want to get on that bus. I want to see what it's about. And that's where it all starts, is just that being inquisitive.
The results of Tammy's program have been absolutely incredible. In fact, every child that finished the program was able to raise their scores dramatically from their pre and their post score.
My passion for teaching comes from the glow of the faces of the students as I work with them. They want the love, they want the discipline, they want the structure, they want the knowledge. And when you're surrounded with children who are motivated to learn, it keeps you wanting to give and give and give back to them. Volunteering is important because there are so many children that need our support and our help. And with School to You, which is our nonprofit, it's a mobile classroom where we literally go to the recreation centers and provide academic support to the children in the area. And volunteering for this helps them to bridge that gap during the summer, where normally they would have some academic deficits taking place during the summertime, but we provide academic service for them during the summer, which kind of closes that gap, and they begin the school year successful.
Do you work with the schools as well?
I do. I work with charter schools in the parish at this time. I am presently beginning a program in the school system, in the public school system, as well as I work with some counseling agencies to providing academic support.
Tell us a little bit about when you found out you won this award and your reaction.
When I got the phone call from the Blue Cross Blue Shield Foundation telling me that not only had we been selected as a nominee, but that we were awarded the money from the grant, I was elated. I could not believe out of 100+ applicants, School to You was chosen as one of the 8. So it was definitely a humbling experience. And as I thought about it, not until this event, this time, am I really realizing the level that the nonprofit is moving on. So I'm excited about that.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think, you see, this is so inspiring. You're going to use this grant, from what I understand, to help make sure that more children have access to this program. Is there anyone you would like to thank?
Yes. I'd like to thank God, first and foremost, for giving me the gift of teaching. It is an absolute pleasure to meet my children every day and see their smiles. I want to also thank the Blue Cross Blue Shield Foundation for awarding us tonight and honoring us tonight. My family for the support that they have provided me. My dad for being there for me, and my mom, and most of all my husband for just supporting me from the beginning with this vision and has been with me every step of the way. I truly appreciate all that you have done, Annie, and I'll continue to work hard for the kids because I absolutely love teaching.
Mark and Megan Hanna, the Clearport Learning Center, Lafayette, Louisiana.
My name is Mark Hanna. I'm the founder and CEO of the Clearport Learning Center, which is part of the Merlin Herbert Hanna Foundation, which is named after my parents.
My name is Megan Hanna, and I'm a co-founder of the Clearport Learning Center in Lafayette, Louisiana. Before opening the Clearport, I learned that we had high schools in our area that had very high dropout rates. Their test scores were low, and not a lot of kids were going to college, and realized that that was the need that needed to be filled.
We needed a place for teens to go where they felt loved and cared for. There's no place in Lafayette that exists for teens to come after school between the hours of 3 and 6, which is the prime time for them to get into trouble.
At the Clearport, we provide tutoring, ACT prep, job readiness. We have a computer lab, We have a counseling service that comes in a few times a week and does counseling groups with the kids. We provide a home-cooked meal twice a week. They have snacks every day. It's a safe haven for these kids.
What we're trying to provide is just an opportunity or a chance to do something different with their lives, whether it's mixing music or going on to higher education or just a trade school or just graduating. Anything that's different than what they're currently going through. We just want that opportunity and that chance to be provided to them in a safe environment where they're comfortable and they have the ultimate chance to succeed.
Without this center, I probably wouldn't have graduated from high school because of the resources that were provided. And I definitely wouldn't be going to college because the resources that this center provides are like no other. And these are things that an impoverished student or a student living in poverty or extreme poverty conditions, which is very normal within the part of Lafayette that we live in, it wouldn't be accessible to the students that come here.
Mark and Megan are selfless. They care so much about these students. Mark spends time gathering resources and making sure that every student here feels like they're at home. He makes them feel like they're welcome and that they can accomplish anything. Megan comes here weekly. She serves meals to our students. She offers rides for them to get home safely. She gives them encouraging words. They're just an all-around great couple.
Kids don't choose who their parents are or what situation they're born into. And we are given the opportunity for them to see that there are other things out there for them, that they can do whatever they want to do in life, they can be whoever they want to be, that they can make a difference. And just giving them a little love and encouragement goes a huge way with these kids.
We think that we can change kids' lives, and that's what we're attempting to do with our Clearport Learning Center on the north side of Lafayette, Louisiana. And we're trying to provide mentorship and tutorial skills for the kids and just try to make a difference in a very difficult situation in Lafayette.
What is your center called? Tell us a little bit about it. It's just for teens?
It's called Clearport Learning Center. It's just for high school teens only. And we have about 7 or 8 different high schools that we draw from on the north side of Lafayette for the most part. We have 300 registered, and we have about 70 to 90 to 100 on any given day that will show up for our center. Yeah. Well, that's our goal, is to try to prototype this one and keep moving around the country with it. Thank you.
Megan, tell us a little bit about your reaction when you found out you won the award.
Overwhelmed, shocked, honored, humbled. We did this because we saw a need, not to be recognized for it, and it was just an overwhelming love that we felt.
Congratulations. I know, I understand that you too plan on spending the grant money to impact more children. I want you to take the mic, and here's your opportunity to let us know who you're thinking.
Well, I'd like to thank God for the inspiration and the means to provide this project what it needed. I'd like to thank our board members, Scott Broussard and Liz Moreau, Catherine and Jamie Howard, and the wonderful tutors that we have, the volunteers, the family, the friends, the cooks. It's amazing what we've accomplished in a short period of time, but it can't be done without our 2 concrete pillars, which I want to thank the most, which are Rachel Falk, which is our administrator, and is affectionately referred to as Mama Seal, who's our enforcer. And they're over here. So, they've done an amazing job, but the biggest, I guess the most courage and the biggest award goes to the kids that every day try to strive to make their lives better. And that's just courage by itself, to try to improve your conditions. And I'm so proud of our kids. And I'm so proud of our team. And thank you, Blue Cross Blue Shield, for this incredible honor. Very much appreciated.
Jonathan James, Hope Charities, Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
My name is Jonathan James, and I'm the president and CEO of Hope Charities. I was born with a bleeding disorder called hemophilia, which causes severe internal bleeding. When I was growing up, hemophilia was really known as the crippling disease, and a lot of people don't realize that hemophilia causes severe internal bleeding, and a byproduct of that bleeding is severe joint deterioration. And in my case, I had so much deterioration from thousands of internal bleeds that over time I needed surgery to repair all of that damage, which led to me being in a wheelchair for over 2 years.
I met Jonathan through his dad, but before I met Jonathan, I knew about Jonathan's growing up, that he had hemophilia, and the challenges that the entire family had faced throughout Jonathan's life, and how Jonathan had taken those challenges and turned them into a foundation.
My two boys were diagnosed with hemophilia, Brennan and Ashton. Brennan is 14 now. He was 10 at the time, and Ashton was 1. You know, if you lose a tooth or your child loses a tooth, and you just pull a tooth out and you put it on the pill and you get $10. When his tooth or my little one's tooth, they start getting loose, we have to go to Tulane, and they have to get factor injections, and they have to get a Profo, you know, to make sure that when that tooth comes out and you bleed, it stops.
In 2009, my wife and I helped start this foundation to help families who are going through chronic illness and facing a crisis find resources and financial assistance.
People need rental assistance and assistance with getting their cars repaired so they have transportation to medical treatment. They need utility bills paid, they need home repairs, and their situation is complicated because they are unable to work or unable for both parents to work, or they have been out of work for a long period of time because they were staying at home with sick children.
Hemophilia is so rare, and people don't know about it so much, is that we keep our own medicine on hand because even the local large hospitals don't have the factor on hand. You know, during the floods, we lost all our factor. To resupply, so what we had was around $35,000 worth of medicine that we had to keep, that we lost. Hope Charities stepped in, and they were able to get us in contact with different vendors who were able to supply us and give us, you know, resupply us with that.
Hope Charities was really birthed out of this idea that a community could surround their friends and family and really support them, you know, financially, but also with emotional support and help. And still today, that's what we're trying to cultivate. We're trying to cultivate an opportunity where people can take a stand for their friends, their neighbors, their family members that are going through difficulties with chronic illness. And together, we can do something great for each other if we stick together. That's what Hope Charities is all about.
You know, volunteering is incredibly important because it is the very lifeblood of what makes a difference in people's lives. It's the essence of generosity, really.
Can you tell us a little bit about your ward?
Absolutely. So I run an organization called Hope Charities, and what we do is help families that are dealing with chronic illness and going through a crisis. We help them with financial assistance, with finding resources, and helping them really get out of a really difficult situation and transition back to home so that they can get well and get back on their feet. And winning the Angel Award this year has been an incredible honor to really be considered among all these amazing other people who have also well-deserving volunteerism and organizations that they support, and to be considered in that group is really just truly humbling.
Now, I know a lot of people, I'm sure you guys would agree, who feel like God puts challenges in our life for a reason, and it's almost like it's a blessing to have someone like you to go through a challenge, to be able to provide so much support for others. Thank you so much for your service, and here's your opportunity. Thanks.
Thank you. You know, I can remember when I was a kid that the doctors told me that I would never see the age of 12. And I also remember the day when they told me that I'd never see adulthood. And, you know, tonight is a reminder to me that life is so precious, but that truly, when you have courage and you push through the pain, there's a possibility that you can make a difference in the lives of people who are hurting all around us. And so tonight, my story is about hemophilia, but really all of our stories in this room tonight are about something much greater, and that is that each one of us has the ability to take what's been painful to us and make something drastically different in someone's life, and that is change through creating hope. So tonight, I'd really like to thank just all of the people who've supported us to make things possible for what we do, and that's Jan Fugler, our nominator, who nominated me tonight, and a great chairman friend of ours, Michael Mann, who's been a huge support, my parents, David and Debbie, who saw us through some incredible challenges, Alyssa Porter, our entire staff and our team has been amazing, but most of all, my wife. You know, the definition of courage is to stand in the face of pain. My wife has been through that season with me through the many days where we were in a wheelchair and a lot of pain, but she's also been the heartbeat behind the mission mission of what we do every day. So thank you, Carla, for everything that you've done, and thank you all so much for your nomination.
Anselmo Rodriguez, Rotary Club of Baton Rouge, capital city. Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
My name is Anselmo Rodriguez. I got involved in the Choices program within the Baton Rouge Capital City Rotary Club as part of my drive to help kids. I love kids, and it's really being upright for my family. My mom and my dad was always active in helping kids and share with us how blessed we were. So through this program, I've been able to not only continue their work, but also to fulfill my need to bring change to the world, a better change.
I think that what stands out about Anselmo to me is the fact that it seems like he does twice as much work as anybody else. With the Choices program, if you look at the schedule of volunteers, it seems like he has himself listed for twice as many hours of giving his presentation as anybody else. The fact also that he recruits other employees, other volunteers, helps to train them and really helps to encourage and motivate them, shows that he takes that extra step, that he goes above and beyond what the normal volunteer does.
The Choices program helps kids that are thinking about dropping to school to reconsider their decision. They specifically target 8th graders in at-risk situations.
In all of the schools, we go in with the objective of trying to convince the students how important it is that they achieve a high school diploma, and how critical it is to get that high school diploma and the importance on the outcome of the rest of their life. From making good choices at that age, you are empowered at that age to make choices that do indeed affect your entire lifetime.
The Choices program is comprised of 8 10-minute modules, so the students are challenged to participate in the 8 modules, and they learn that when they stay in school, they'll have more opportunities, and for decades, whatever they've done before is going to have an impact on their quality of life for 30, 40, 50 years.
It's extremely exciting to hear from the kids that their participation in the Choices program had actually changed their mind to the point that making that decision to stay in school a few more years will actually help them possibly change their outcome in the future, actually breaking the cycle of poverty for them and for their family.
I think that the Blue Angel Award, the foundation of the Blue Angel Award is someone who goes way beyond the call of duty for Louisiana kids. That's kind of the fundamental. And Anselmo, I think, just embodies that.
My hope that at least one kid change his mind and stay in school. If we change one kid, we already changed the world. Of course, with the help of many, we can get a lot more kids to take that leap of faith and believe that the future will be better.
It's important because, among other things, you bring in change to life, positive change to somebody else's life. It's good enough when you're blessed and the world and God give you all these beautiful things you have, but you multiply when you share it with others. That's why it's important.
Can you please tell us about your award and how it felt to receive it?
Wow, it was overwhelming. Actually, I'm the Blue Angel recipient this year. The Blue Angel is actually the angel that happened to come from Blue Cross Blue Shield of Louisiana. It's for the employees. Within the company encourages a lot of our employees to do community involvement, community relations. And of course, once a year, among the 2,000 employees in Louisiana, they pick one, and I was blessed. I was nominated this year, and it was overwhelming. It was really, for 3 years I've been involved in the Choices program, which is really a school enforcement or motivation for 8th graders to finish high school program, together with the Baton Rouge Capital Rotary Club. And anyway, this year got nominated and picked, and that was amazing. And they did it in a very special fashion because they didn't tell me anything. And they had my 4 kids. I have 4 boys, wife and grandkids, and they all kind of plot to be there without me, and it was really overwhelming. They all knew about it. They all plot together with the company, with the community relations staff, my leadership in finance, and it was great. It was beyond what I can describe. So. Well, first, I want to thank the flock of angels that are the volunteers that help us bring that message of hope and the criteria of making the right decision to stay in school. Those are the true angels, that flock of volunteers, and we need more of those, so please come forward. Additionally, I want to thank Blue Cross Blue Shield of Louisiana, its foundation, and the Baton Rouge Capital City Rotary Club for providing me not only the resources, but also the environment to be able to bring forward this vision. Thank you all. Thank you for being here and keep supporting our kids in Louisiana. They are our future. So we need to invest in them if we want to know what the future is going to look like.
Peggy Kirby, Louisiana Foster and Adopted Parent Association, Monroe, Louisiana.
My name is Peggy Kirby. I'm with the Louisiana Foster and Adoptive Parent Association.
Having a foster family that shows consistent love and care, and you know that has your back for all things, really lays a foundation for a foster child to build on. Even if they leave the home, a strong foundation has been laid, and it's just a valuable role that foster parents can play in the life of a child.
Over the last 30 years, my husband and I have fostered over 100 teenage girls. Many of the teenage girls that come into our home have challenges, and they've never lived in a functional family home. They are behind in school. They've not had the stability that they needed to become young adults.
Peggy's the executive director of the Louisiana Foster and Adoptive Parent Association, and she has been able to directly influence legislation, policy. She works on a state level with DCFS, and she's just been very beneficial as a mentor to foster parents throughout the state of Louisiana.
The work that the Louisiana Foster and Adoptive Parents Association does is so vital in support of foster care. They mentor new foster parents, but they also advocate for children in foster care as well as current foster parents. And in addition, they raise the bar in expectations of providing quality parenting in Louisiana.
Being with Ms. Peggy allowed me to be a normal 14 and 15-year-old and not have to take on responsibilities as an adult would, and be able to look up to an adult and be able to think to yourself, she's going to be here whether you make mistakes or not. This is what a mom's supposed to be like.
I had been her home development worker and actually was in her home on many occasions. And I want to emphasize that Peggy's home is a home. It is a true home where children come in that have been abused, abandoned, and neglected, and may for the first time have a birthday party, have a new dress to wear to church. They go on trips like any other family. They participate in sports activities. She works with them to ensure that their education is on track as they transition into adulthood for the time that they are in her home and far beyond. Peggy is a true mother figure to these young ladies.
As a foster parent myself, Peggy's been such an inspiration to me. I see the way that she cares for them. I see her creativity with them. And I learned to be a better foster parent by watching Peggy and what she does.
I was overwhelmed and honored. It shocked me so bad even to be nominated, but then to be told that I had been selected was just humbling to me.
Why is it important that people volunteer?
People need to volunteer. They need to see the need in their community. Regardless of what you choose to do, you need to have community involvement in whatever your mission in life is.
I know you plan to use the $20,000 grant to help more children and to put that back in with the Kiwanis Club, right, into the community.
Into the Louisiana Foster and Adoptive Parent Association, who supports foster parents across the state. And I want to thank foster parents across the state that do what I do every day. I appreciate this honor of being recognized, but there are families out there doing the same thing. Some of them do infants. I couldn't do infants. A lot of people say they couldn't do teenagers, okay? So we all have a God-called mission in our heart, and every foster parent in this state is special, and I appreciate the honor. I want to thank Terry Habrowski for nominating me for this award. She touched my heart and things she had to say in the video. I want to thank the Louisiana Foster and Adoptive Parent Association for supporting foster parents across the state, offering that through the continuing education and support and advocacy for foster parents across the state. Thank you very much to the Blue Cross Blue Shield Foundation for this Angel Award. Thank you very much.
I want to make sure we heard it right. 100. You fostered 100 girls.
Yes.
That's incredible.
And I want to thank my husband, y'all. He passed away in January, but he was a partner through the whole thing. And he would love to have been here with us tonight, but I know he's looking down on me and what we do. And my son's here with me tonight, and I thank him for driving down to be here with me. So thank you very much.
Lloyd Dennis, Silverback Society, Incorporated, New Orleans, Louisiana.
My name is Lloyd Dennis, and I'm the co-founder and now executive director of the Silverback Society.
So the Silverback Society actually came out of a joint venture with my husband and Mr. Lloyd. And they realized that there was a systemic problem within the African American community that needed to be addressed and needed to be addressed by black men.
We started in one school at the invitation of a principal. And now we'll be serving over 600 kids in 20 schools in public schools in New Orleans. We discovered that the little boys were just waiting for some men to show up, and they responded to us showing up and being consistent and letting them know that we care, and basically letting the light in our life shine for them.
One of the main reasons that we wanted the Silverbacks at Murray Henderson was because we were post-Katrina, and many of our young men were coming back into a situation where there were no male figures in the home. We thought that bringing the Silverbacks in and allowing our kids to see examples of what African American men could aspire to be would help us in curtailing some of the other issues that we were trying to address. And the Silverbacks made a significant impact on the violence and the territorial wars that we were having in our school.
When I saw Lloyd, he fired something up in me. I've always been afraid to give of myself, but he challenged me to start thinking that way, to give of myself, service before self. I was never comfortable with the word love, In meeting him, I became comfortable with that word and what it truly meant. And that is to give of yourself unconditionally for the benefit of someone else.
Silverback teaches that you don't have to be, boys don't have to be a product of the current situation or circumstances that surround them, but it teaches them how to be a man, and they can rise above it. And the great thing about this is that with the mentors, as they come from the same type of background, and so what it offers these young men is that I made it out as well. And I didn't take my circumstances and say that was the end, but I rose above it. And that's hope.
We've actually seen kids go from being the biggest problem at a school to one of the best assets. Kids that people might have given up on end up doing extremely well in testing and become really good citizens around the school, because we just showed them that you are somebody and you are important. It was kind of overwhelming. Found out that I'd been nominated by 2 people, and so it's humbling actually to have people think of you and that you deserve an award.
Tell us why volunteering is so important.
Man, volunteering gets things done that money can't afford to pay for. We have 120 guys that volunteer And if you had to put the money on the table that it would take to get that work done, I'm sure it'd be 6 figures, much more than we could ever afford to do. So volunteering allows work to get done that maybe you can't pay people to do. And the heart of a volunteer doing the work is felt by the people who that volunteer interacts with. So they know that they're doing it because they love, because it's in their heart to do it, and that they really want to help the people that they're helping.
This is such an incredibly vital relationship to help form because this creates a lifelong mentorship. It's not just temporary while they're kids, right?
Right. Once a silverback, always a silverback.
I love it. I love it. Go ahead, please.
There's 120 men that do this work, so I'm a little self-conscious about being the one that stands up here and gets all the accolades. There are 3 women. You met 2 of them in the video. Nedra Wadsworth, who's the wife of our deceased co-founder, Arthur Wadsworth, who actually invited me to coffee to get this done. And Beverly Jelks, who was the principal that just opened her door and gave men in community an opportunity to come in and do what they do. And there's another one sitting at the table, which is my wife. Nedra and my wife have something in common. They both knew that they would never be rich because they married men who have a heart for community and children. And the guy taking the picture is my the chairman of my board. That's my boss. And I have to tell y'all, the children are just waiting, and all we have to do is show up without judgment and unconditional love and a lot of patience, and they will have hope. So thank you.
Kim Winston Bigler, James Storehouse, Mandeville, Louisiana.
My name is Kim Bigler, and I'm the founder, executive director of James Storehouse, Louisiana. I was made aware of a young girl. At 16, she was emancipating herself out of the foster care system and had experienced some abusive homes and situations after 16 placements, having all these unmet needs all of her life. So it was a kind of a call to action to me. And I went and got the heater, and that's kind of how James Storehouse began.
The Department of Children and Family Services and James Storehouse has a critical relationship. James Storehouse provides concrete services. If a grandmother has accepted her grandchildren into her home and the only barrier is she doesn't have 4 beds for them, they can make a call at James Storehouse. Those beds will be delivered in 24 hours. Basics, concrete needs, as well as support, moral encouragement, and having the support system that extends beyond the Department of Children and Family Services into the community. That's what James Storehouse provides.
Our Resource Center provides clothing for kids coming into foster care, newborns to age 18, and anyone in between. Boys and girls can get their school clothes needs met. We also have toy area. A lot of times these kids lose their toys in different transitions, and so when they come into our center and they see the toy area, that immediately puts a smile on their face.
I think when children come into foster care, especially the older children, the foster youth, I think that they think that they're not like everybody else and they don't feel normal. And I think Kim helps bridge the gap to make them feel as normal as possible, to help them participate in extracurricular activities and do all the things that children would do normally in high school or middle school, and let them have the normal life that they deserve.
Kim Bigler has given us a good example of how one person can really make a difference in the community, and that in itself, I think, is a call to action for all of us.
Simple felt needs and meeting those needs to kids in foster care is a really big deal. It says, I see you. It says, I know you. It says, you're worth something. You're worth care. I care for you, even love. And one word that comes to mind is hope, that I'm not alone. And I do have a village, because this person supplied something for me that I needed. And when I expressed that need, here it is in my hands, That's a very big deal for any child going through the foster care system.
Volunteering is so important because there's so many gaps to fill in our local communities, and I feel like we kind of lean on government to supply everything for broken families, broken children, homelessness, foster care situation, and really the biggest sleeping giant is local communities, but the biggest resource that these kids and families need are us loving our neighbors. So when we have volunteers and they're actually knowing the need from anywhere from becoming a foster care family to supporting a foster care family or supporting a family that's even just broken or needs a stove or needs food, a refrigerator worth of food. Volunteers can do that on a daily basis, and you don't even have to connect to nonprofits, although we do certainly need volunteers. You could do this on a daily basis, but it's to fill the gaps in society that we're looking for someone else to be the solution when you are the solution. I found out I won the award through the Rotary of Mandeville and nominated us for our work regarding foster youth and taking care of foster children. And I was completely floored because this is just natural to me. You help your community. Who are those in need that you see need someone to step up and care for them, and that's what you do. So something that comes so natural, I'm not assuming comes with accolades and awards, but I'm actually glad that it does because it helps me, have a platform to tell others that we need you on board too. There's lots of children that need your help, and so it's a great platform, and I'm so thankful to Blue Cross Blue Shield for choosing us and nominating me or choosing me and being able to encourage and inspire others to get on board.
You're great. Thank you. You are great. That is incredible. I'm sorry. I'm really excited. You accept donations.
Yes,
from everybody here, right?
Yes, we will.
All right. I'll let you take the mic. Congratulations.
Just want to stay on point here because anyone knows me knows I love the mic. So let's get it all in. I want to thank the Blue Cross Blue Shield Foundation for this honor to shine a spotlight on the kids in foster care who are often our most invisible, not only in the state of Louisiana, but in our nation. I want to thank my mom, former state representative Diane Winston, who instilled in me a duty to my community and a boldness to challenge the status quo of our social systems. I would like to thank my dad for indulging my visionary spirit and my encouraging me to dream the impossible. My courageous board for putting up with a risk taker. God bless you. There's wine on the table. My husband and son for being my rocks and the wind beneath my wings, and Tom Quinn with the Rotary Club of Mandeville for nominating us and acknowledging the movement of foster care we are creating not only in St. Tammany Parish, but in the state of Louisiana. And I would like to thank, last but not least, Jesus, my Savior, who gave me the heart, the grace, and the second chance to serve in the first place. To him be all the glory. Thank you very much.
Dr. Clyde Johnson, Volunteers in Public Schools, Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
I'm Clyde Johnson. I'm a volunteer with Volunteers in Public Schools.
Mr. Johnson first started at VIPS. He had heard about our program through his church, and he wanted to find opportunities where he can go back into the community because he figures that education is an opportunity and the door opener for children to reach their full potential. So he came to us and said, how can I help?
When I started work with VIPS, he said, what schools do you want to go to? I said, I want to go to the schools where the need is the greatest, where you have the most problems. He said, well, you're going to have problems. I said, well, if there were no problems, there would be no need for the program.
I've known Clyde Johnson about 7 years, and I think the thing that moved me the most was his commitment to trying to help every child. He knows that the life of every child matters, and he realizes that early intervention is important, and he is willing to meet each child where they are.
What we do at VIPS, we recruit and train community members to go into the schools to help kids who are underachieving. So we actually focus on reading and math because those are the foundations of all learning.
Many of the children that are recommended for participation in Everybody Reads do not have anyone at home who can really help them with reading, either because the parent maybe doesn't read or the parent doesn't have time. Many of these children come from families where poverty is a real problem. They move around a lot. The parent might have a couple of jobs. The children don't come from homes where there are a lot of books, if any books, and they certainly don't observe people reading on a regular basis.
The teacher can teach reading, but what these students need is a reason for learning to read, which is associated with mentoring. So most of what I did and still do is mentoring, just talking and letting them talk. And finally, we may read a story or two, but the important thing is getting them ready to read and also opening up a world for them that they don't know exists.
What we like to say in this community, we all have something that we can give. There's a way for each of us to give back. We all have talents that we can use to help others. And at VIPS, that's what we do. We're a part of the solution. If we had more Mr. Johnsons in this community, people who are giving back and serving others, especially when it comes to children, we would have a much stronger community.
My hope is that if I can affect one person, that perhaps that person in their lives will affect others in the same way. I volunteer because I'm trying to justify my existence on this earth for as long as I've been here. And I volunteer with VIPS because it gives me the opportunity to work with children. Our future is with our children. The attitudes that they exhibit will make or determine what the world is going to be in the future. So a lot of people helped me before to be where I am, trying to pay back.
Tell us about your reaction when you found out you won this award.
I was absolutely flabbergasted. I don't understand it yet. I'm still humbled by it. This is what it's all about, right here.
You got it.
He's not always this bashful.
I'm shy.
That's okay. The reason I'm here is because of the executive director of VIPS, Volunteers in Public Schools, Miss Judy Bethley. Thank you very much.
Vernie Howard, Providence House, Shreveport, Louisiana.
My name is Vernie Howard, and I'm the Executive Director of the Providence House.
Providence House started from the realization that there was no shelter for homeless families in the Shreveport area.
We are housing approximately 200 people. So 27 families and children live in our shelter. And we provide all of their daily needs, 3 meals a day. Psychological, emotional well-being is at the forefront of what we do for our families on a daily basis. We provide child care, we provide educational opportunities, help with job search, and all of those things that will help our families to progress to self-sufficiency.
Homelessness can be any one of us on any day of the week. Homeless people, homeless families want the same things that you and I want. We want the best for our children. We want quality of life. And our beginning is we don't judge. We just begin with how did you become homeless, and let us pick you up from that point.
Vernie has a heart for people who are living in poverty and believes that their lives can be improved. And she's not one to sit back and be just the idea person, though she is that. She is thought put into action. She knows intimately our families. She knows their stories as well. She knows what their needs are.
Providence House is critical for the community of Shreveport because if we weren't doing this, if Vernie and her staff weren't here, these families would be living in cars, they would be living under the bridge, and also often the children would not be going to school, the parents wouldn't be getting any education, The parents wouldn't have a chance to become gainfully employed. There were no Providence House. These are people that would be left behind and the community would not know about.
Every single day when I pick up Hannah and Matthew from school, my own children, I think about those children who have crossed our threshold, who need the same type of love, support that I give my own children. And I don't go home and not think about them every single day, because I know that no kid should ever know that they're homeless. Every single day, it is what can I do to make sure that these children have the best opportunity to be all that they can be, to push them really, really hard, to have very high expectations of them. And every single time you do that, kids will rise to the occasion.
Volunteering is a way to connect our community to some of the greater ills that plague the community. Volunteers are the conduit to what we think makes a better community, what makes a better state, what makes a better country. For those who give freely of their time with the expectation of nothing in return except impact, that's why volunteers are so important to us. I was absolutely floored, and I'm sure you'll hear this from other winners. It is so counterintuitive to us to be recognized for something that we absolutely love to do. And when I was told that I was the winner, I thought, oh wow, what a great chance to talk about Providence House. And everybody said, Vernie, it's about you. And I said, it's never about me. It's about the work that I do, that I love doing every single day, connecting people to the mission of Providence House. It's what I'm called to do. So I'm humbled in a way. I'm a little country girl from Shreveport, Louisiana. So it's so humbling to think that my life could really impact the lives of homeless women and men and children. So it's sobering, it's humbling, and again, it's really I look at it as I'm a voice for a lot of families who perhaps would not otherwise have a voice. So that's why it's so powerful to me and so meaningful to me. It is so counterintuitive for those of us who have stood right here, all the honorees, to receive thanks for something that we are just so called to do. And I am so grateful that I've had people in my life who have pushed and challenged for me to find that thing that is within me that we call life and purpose. This moment is not about me. It's about the children, the men, the women that we get to serve every single day through love and food and shelter and hope. And I should be thanking you for giving me such an incredible opportunity to be all that God has called me to be and what He's created me to do. And so I thank the men and women, Danny Montalero, who brought me back to Baton Rouge from Atlanta, Georgia, and to give me a chance to serve alongside him as a banker. I am so thankful for two courageous women who realized that a family unit had to be together in order to be whole again. Jean Sayers and Marianne Selber, this was their baby, and they've allowed me to serve and work and continue the work that they've started. I'm so thankful for Dr. Susan Seiler Smith, who drove from Shreveport, Louisiana to share this moment with me and with Providence House as board chair, and so incredibly thankful for Gwen Hamilton, who pushed me into this thing we call service and serving others and service above self, and especially Shelley Marshall, who's my director of human resources, who tells me, Vernie, you can't say that. And I say, oh yes I can if you close the door, but there are some things that we have to say and we have to do so that people can rise above and see themselves bigger than their circumstances. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank my precious husband, who has allowed me to move from a banker receiving bonuses to living the the life that God has called me to live, who stands beside me, who allows me to work 12 and 13-hour days, and he just brings me coffee, and we just brush our teeth in the morning. We don't have conversation, and he understands that there is a great work to do. So Blue Cross Blue Shield Foundation, thank you so much for allowing us to do what we do. I'm grateful.
It was an incredible evening. We are so proud to be here to support and highlight these wonderful people, glad to tell their stories. And we're really hopeful that as people are watching and the people who are here in the audience, that they walk away with some renewed inspiration and find ways to get engaged with these incredible individuals.
If people have questions, like more information, what should they do?
Sure. Folks who would like more information should visit our website, www.bcbslafoundation.org. From there, they can find more about this year's honorees, previous honorees, more about how to nominate someone for the Angel Award next year, or anything else they'd like to know.